All right, hello everybody. Well, this is Boz filling in for Joshua, who is unable to be here with us. Unfortunately, he is sick. Well, we wish him a speedy recovery, of course. Well, on the program tonight, we got a guest with us. A really not just anybody. A guy that I know very well now. Hello to Flag Boxing, first of all. Nice to see you here as always. A great boxing fan and follower of this podcast. Well, I'm waiting for Peter to turn up because he wanted me to give him the link via you know this channel. Yes, all right. Until he arrives, just a second, I'm getting a message from him. Until he arrives, I can just briefly say that I did see some highlights of fights of last night. Hey, Mr. Pat, salute to you. Yeah. Well, Peter says he will be with us in a minute. All right. I'm gonna drop the link. Um, yeah. He is new to this. He doesn't hasn't done this before, so he doesn't know how this works. Anyway, here's the link. I hope Janibek fights. Yeah, me too. That would have been the best fight right now. I think at 160, the most logical fight. And now Janibek holds two belts, and Adames is, I believe, the interim champion. WBA, I believe, something. I mean, Arislan Lara, that's just ridiculous that he's still the WBA champion. He's like ancient by now. Team 2 looked amazing, probably the best super welterweight right now. Yeah, true. I agree. I agree. Yeah, nice. The dream would be, yeah. Yeah, he should be stripped now. I mean, he's fought nobody for, and he hasn't been active, also for a while. Right. I'm gonna, yeah. All right. Yeah. Those were some good fights. I mean, yeah, I didn't watch the one. I saw Johnny Beck, and that was very one-sided. And also the with Mendoza fight, that was a lot more competitive, of course. Yeah, I mean, this guy Gualtieri, I don't know where he came from. Suddenly he was the IBF champion, and šta radiš, to bežiš, evo, teba viš da snimam se. Yeah, he reminds me of Tommy Hearns, the young, in his prime. The way you know, the way he moves and picks his opponents apart. Very impressive. He's very impressive. That was a really one-sided fight. Falcao, yeah, and he's kind of. I think you were talking about Yamaguchi Falcao. He's he's just a second. Peter has problems. He's yeah, no longer, never was a really great fighter. Falcao. Yeah. Yeah. Team 2 is just, a true heir of his father, really. He's got a lot of the same qualities that made Kostya so great. Definitely, and he looks like him as well. Yeah. Well, we have to just wait. Bear with Peter, who is new to this technology. Technology. I hope he will be with us soon. All right. Yeah, he is kind of, yeah, a nobody more or less. Esquila Falcao. Šta se dešava tamo, jebem ga. Ej, pa šta zoveš sad? Oh my mother. All right. Yeah, neither did I. Yeah. Really, this is kind of frustrating because, yeah, it's like, yeah, majority. I see also that Sam Goodman won. Yeah, he's like an English prospect or a AFM. All right, still waiting for Peter to arrive. What the hell is the problem? I don't really know. Seems like he is not on the. He's, he's, as I said, very new to this, so he's got a little bit problems finding the right, yeah, whatever. Yeah, he's a little nervous, I would say, also. So bear with him. Did he look good? Yeah. And by the way, I did happen to see some of those, YouTuber fights last night. Unfortunately, that's all that there was on the zone in my time when I'm awake. So, yeah. But I'd rather not talk about it. Tommy Fury versus KSI. But many are not really satisfied with that decision. Yeah, I could only bear to watch the first two rounds, and they looked very close, very competitive. Yeah. Just a second, I think I should. All right, it's all right, no problem. Wow. That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, just the fact that it was a pay per view was ridiculous. Yeah, yeah. Oh, finally, here's he. All right, here is the link, Peter. Peter is finally here. All right, click on that now. You see that, yeah, 86 boxing and the thing below. Click on thing below. I don't know why you insisted to have the link here, but anyway, you could have just clicked from your messenger as I do with Joshua. But anyway, the important thing is that you are here finally. Yeah, great, great stuff, man. All right, now we start our program. Davis Carnival in his last fight. Yeah, he's supposed to be like some kind of hope, I guess. I know Joshua has talked about him or mentioned him before, but I've never seen him fight Keyshawn Davis. All right. All right, Peter, what's going on? Everything all right? I hope you can. All right, here is he finally, ladies and gentlemen, my esteemed guest, Peter Van
If you can
Leyden.
hear me, can you hear me?
Yeah, now you are
Oh,
on. Hello.
I'm really sorry. I had quite a few technical
Nah,
problems going on there in the background, which
don't
nobody was
worry about it.
aware, especially yourself. I know that you've been waiting, and I thank you for your patience. It's a bit
No,
true.
no,
It's a
it's all
godsend as
right.
well. But
I
yeah, I didn't
wait.
get frustrated. It's the first time I've done anything like this on the
Yeah, of
StreamYard. So
course.
I'm at least I know now.
Yeah, yeah,
How
yeah.
I had it on my TV, but I had the sound down. But
It can be.
I didn't
Yeah, I mean,
want to watch it on the TV because I wanted to do it on my tablet, but my tablet
yeah.
wouldn't load up, and my phone because I casted my mobile to my TV. Oh, it all went all muddled up. So
Right.
yeah, but here we
Well,
are.
yeah.
Finally, we
Finally, you
get to
are
talk.
here.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
The
Um,
important thing is that you are here. All right. So, thank you. Nice to
yeah.
have you here. Well,
I don't know if we can sort of like recap on what I've probably missed before I joined. What have I missed upon? If you don't mind sharing that with
no,
myself,
nothing
so
big.
I'm
We
aware.
were just discussing the fight. So last night, and we can do that now or later. It's same for you. No, however you like it. Maybe we can start with. Have you seen? I mean, I know you. I sent you that some highlights of those fights that happened last night. Did you watch them?
Um, um, I only got the particular fights this afternoon, and I didn't really have. I do apologize. I didn't have time to watch them.
All right, then we just skip that. All right, all right. Let's start because most people. I mean, here don't know you that well, even though you have been here before, but you haven't been here for a while anyway. So, can you tell us a little bit about your own? Because you were a boxer in the amateurs, is that right?
Yeah, I was a boxer going back many moons ago. Um, Maybe during this conversation, my age will become standing out. But I don't choose to share that straight away. But I'm sure people might be able to work that out, especially yourself, because
Hmm.
when I give particular dates, you will probably, you know, you, you don't have to be a mathematician to work it out.
Right. Yeah. Well, anyway, tell us a little bit about how you started. What inspired you to start boxing, first of all?
Um, I don't know. I think I was my upbringing. I was my father was like a big boxing fan,
Hmm.
and he used to, talk about the fights, especially when he had a drink. He liked to
Hmm.
indulge in the alcohol, and he once went to his friends, and I went round there. I was only little, and they had these boxing gloves.
Hmm.
And I put the boxing gloves on, and they were, play acting, sort of like, go and hit me, like on Somebody Up There Likes Me, the movie with Paul Newman.
Yeah, yeah.
Can you remember when he was a kid that he was sort of like teaching him how to
Yeah, his
punch?
father. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
well, it
That's a good.
reminded me of that. It
Hmm.
distinct, and it still stands out in my mind, to this day. And I put the gloves on, and his friend said, "Go on, hit me," And I hit him with everything, But when you're a kid, you're about I don't know how old I was, maybe about 8 year old or something like that.
Yeah,
But
right.
I think I got accustomed to sort of like a boxing gloves, and it was always etched on my mind, the boxing.
Hmm.
And
Right,
I was as I was growing up, I think Muhammad Ali was an inspiration.
right. Of course.
And we was watching because I'm from Yorkshire, and
Hmm.
that's in the United Kingdom, and a place called Bradford,
That's,
and a particular boxer called Richard Dunn.
oh
I'm pretty
yeah,
sure you've heard of him. He's
yeah. He
from
was.
around that area as well. He's from around that location, and he
Yeah, I
was
know.
actually fighting
Yeah,
Muhammad Ali.
that's
I
right.
don't know. Yeah, it was. What year was that? Was it 1976?
Yeah, probably in the mid 70s, I think. Yeah, I know he was stopped in 5 rounds in that fight.
Yeah, but he didn't disgrace himself. I think he put up a reasonable performance because everyone was
Yeah,
writing him off, really, weren't they? You know what I mean? And
but
I,
I
I,
know
I
he
think he had
was.
a respectable performance, but he was up against a world class opponent
Yeah,
in Muhammad Ali
I know
at the
that
time.
he fought.
It was a good payday.
He fought Joe Wagner also later, and yeah, was knocked out by him as well.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it was a good payday. I think Richard Dunn became the British and European champion.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
we watched that, and I thought, yeah, I like the boxing. I think it's really good, And I was at school, and a friend of mine asked me if I wanted to go to the boxing gym. I was around 12-year old. I went, yeah, okay. Went
Hmm.
along, and oh my God, this gym, it was like the old school gyms.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're still around, a lot of them, but in them days, it was like it's a distinct smell of sweat and leather. You know, with the boxing equipment, the boxing gloves, the head guards, and,
Hmm.
and, and the leather skipping ropes. It was just a complete sweat bucket, you know. Um, they had the old spit bucket in the corner, like in a Rocky movie. The first one, the
Yeah.
Rocky. Rocky 2 was on there as well.
Yeah.
Mickey's gym. It was like that.
Wow.
It was a small gym. It was at
Because
the YMCA, the Young
right.
Man's Christian Association, and I wasn't nervous or anything like that, but I was a little bit. I thought I don't know what to expect really. Coming across all these different people, strangers, and they were all boxing. There was shadow boxing. They were on the park. They were skipping. There were old school pictures of fighters from yesteryear. Benny Lynch was one of them,
Oh yeah.
and they had Freddie Mills. He was another one. Black and white photos, old footage photos. I think Jack Dempsey was on there. Um, and I thought, yeah, I like this. And he christened me my nickname. He gave the trainer took a shine to me, and he said, right, we got yeah. What happened is um, the kid who I went along with was a lot bigger than me, a lot taller than me, and I was only short. when I was like 12 years old, I was like 5 foot nothing. I was 5 foot something. I wasn't very tall. And he said to my friend, "Do you want to spar?" And he went, "No." And a little voice came out of the background, and it was me. And they all saw I moved away. I said, "I will."
Like in
I
a
will.
movie.
I will. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yay! And they're all sort of like cheering. "You're now Rocky. Rocky." That's where I got the name.
Right.
Yeah. So
You were known as Rocky Leyden, right, as a
yeah,
boxer.
yeah, yeah. Yes, sir. That's what they were calling me, and it just sort of like rubbed off, and they were calling me as my nickname all the time. Then, even now, even to this day, people still call me.
Right.
There was lots of sparring in that gym,
Hmm.
lots of gym wars. Now, you know what I'm referring to when. And if there are any viewers who are listening, they'll know. Especially if they're fight fans and stuff, they'll know what a gym war is.
Yeah,
Leave it in
of
the ring.
course.
There are
So,
some trainers who don't like, don't leave it in the gym. Leave it in the ring on the night when you're fighting. However,
hmm,
that didn't matter in this gym. And honest to God, some of these sparring sessions were proper fights. I got dropped by a punch in a sparring session. I got dropped.
hmm,
It wasn't a lucky punch. He caught me right on the temple and I went down. So there's no playing
yeah,
around. There was no games. You can't play
yeah,
boxing. When it comes to boxing, we know that, don't
yeah, of course. I mean, it happens, of course. I mean, yeah. So, what did you take? Did you participate in any like bigger competitions like
we?
ABA and stuff like that?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I didn't really have a stellar career in like titles or fighting for
Hmm.
like in the tournament and everything like that. But I had a handful of fights in the as a junior and as a senior, and they're both different. They're both different altogether. But
Hmm.
my first fight, I can remember. Wow, I can remember that fight really well. I still can remember it today. And in them days, they used to allow smoking. It was an old working man's club, and this kid had about 16 fights, and this was my first fight. But somehow they seemed to agree that it was a reasonable match. But this guy was really fast, really quick. I lost a fight on a split decision actually. And I
Hmm.
thought, you know what, I got a real liking to it then, boxing. But my lungs were burning because of all the smoke, from the fumes from the crowd.
Right.
So yeah, I had a few fights as a junior, and my most notable um, contest was against a particular individual who went on as a professional. When he turned professional, he won the World Boxing Organization Junior Middleweight, light middleweight championship
Hmm.
in Sheffield, Hillsborough, by the name of Paul Silky Jones.
Oh yeah, right. Well, so you
Yeah.
fought him, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I fought him as an amateur. I think we must have been around about 14, 13-year old then. It was 1981. So, like I said earlier before,
Great.
we started talking when I was giving sort of like a debrief. I said,
Yeah.
work out the age, 1981, 13, 14 years. So I'm showing my age.
Hmm. I read
Yeah,
about him. I haven't seen him fight yet, but they say that he was very talented, but kind of didn't really fulfill. I mean, he didn't stay on top very long, and yeah, for some reason, didn't completely fulfill his talent. And
yeah.
yeah, I know
Well,
he beat Vernon Phillips for that
yeah.
title, and he was a very good fighter, Vernon.
Well,
Hmm.
Phillips was a future boxing Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
So that was a really good victory for Jones.
Mm.
But I still can see that night going to a strange place in the car, and I thought in the middle of wherever I'm going, I don't know where I'm going. And when you're a kid, what I mean, you see the world sort of like what's going on. It's a long way. You weren't that far, but it felt like a long way. When you don't
Yeah.
usually go that far, really. I wasn't used to that, and we got weighed and everything like that because we had to get weighed. And my trainer said to me that's who you're boxing. I looked over and he was shadow boxing. Was Jones is really fast. He was really fast, and I thought, oh right, yeah, okay. And I thought, okay. However, because I'd been involved in all the sparring sessions with all those different people, a lot of them were older and quite a few were a lot bigger than me. It sort of like it got you sort of like prepared for such thing. Even though I might have been nervous, I wasn't scared. I was
Yeah,
a
you
little bit
fought.
nervous, but I wasn't scared. It was just normal, just being human nature, isn't it?
Yeah, no, you told me you fought quite a lot of opponents that were taller than you. So,
Yeah, like I said when I first started explaining a little bit about my background, I wasn't very tall, so
mm,
like now I'm about 5'9.5". So back
right.
then I was like 5 foot whatever, 5 foot and a fag, 5 foot and a half an inch or something. Not on
Yeah.
a fag paper, I was going to say. You know how thin fag papers are.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah,
So,
yeah. I
mm,
lost that fight on a points decision, but
mm,
I I put up a reasonable performance. I didn't, I did all right. Um, the usual sort of like people kept saying, after my training, oh, you got robbed and all this, but I don't know if that's true. I'm just going by what they said to me. But he was
yeah,
very talented. He was very fast and he was very tall. He used his height very well, height and
yeah,
reach, and he worked off his jab, jabbing and moving. I had to get in close because and work away, but because he was moving all the time, he was making
mm,
it difficult for me. So yeah, it was that kind of sort of fight.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I had a few as a senior. Um, yeah, when you're training like for weeks for one fight, and the fight might be only lasting like 2 minutes round. 2 minute rounds we used to have. Generally speaking, in the ABAs, it's 3 minutes a round.
mm,
But then they change it to 5-2s, don't
mm,
they? They change it to
yeah,
5-2. Especially if you get higher up in competition. Like Anthony Joshua's of this world.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. So I know that in amateur boxing there aren't that many knockouts that happen, but did you ever get knocked out or stopped? I mean, in any way, TKO? Or,
Um, I got knocked down in my senior career. As like I said, I got knocked down in my sparring once when I was
mm,
sparring. He was a tall guy as well, and he caught me on my temple, bang, and I was straight down like light. But you know what?
yeah, who?
I wasn't going to stay on the canvas, so I want to get back up. And that's what
Right.
I did. I got back up. But yeah, it happened again when I was a senior.
Mm,
I was a weight fighter, and I came up against this guy who he was. I was about 18 year old, and then this guy, I don't know, in his early 20s, he I heard that he'd been knocking them all out. His last 4 fights, he'd knocked them all out, and I
mm,
thought, okay, but when you get to that age, even when I was a junior, I was still drying out. You know what I
mm,
mean? I was still, making weight. I was 7 stone. I was 7 stone in my first fight. Seven
mm.
stone.
Yeah. Well, so, what year did you? When did you stop boxing?
Yeah. Well. If I can continue that story about that guy as a senior, I was
Oh yeah,
um
all right,
I
right.
was a middleweight then. I was a middleweight, and that's perhaps probably one of my favourite weight categories in boxing, which we'll get onto later if we have time.
Yeah,
Um,
sure.
and this guy, um, I don't know, we were boxing, and bang, he caught me on my. I don't know where he caught me, but I felt like I was floating, and I crashed onto the canvas, and I was just all over the place. I got up. He was standing. He was counting me, and I got up. And then they waved the fight on, the referee, and he got me again. But this time I went in between the ropes, and he gave me another standing 8 count. Then the bell sounded, the bell sounded, and I swear I was seeing like butterflies all over the place. Yeah, but anyway, I got through that fight, and they they kept saying to me that you won that fight, hometown decision, and I thought, well, I don't know if that's true, but
Right.
yeah. So this
Yeah.
guy, he gassed out, and I kept getting him in close, and he was a little bit taller, and banging him to the body, banging left and right. And this guy kept, I kept hearing him going like that. Anyway, after the fight, he came up to me and said, "You look a lot stronger than you look. Good fight.
Mm.
You look a lot stronger than you look." And I thought, oh, what does it mean by that? You know what I mean? Okay. At least I have muscles standing out or anything like that. I don't know what it is. Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you said like the middleweight is your favorite division. How do you see? What is your comment on the state of that division now at
Well,
the moment?
well, if I like to go back a little bit, why I like the middleweight, because only because I was a middleweight myself.
Right,
But
that's natural.
there were times when I came across light heavies as well, light
Mm.
heavyweights. Who were naturally bigger than me, and I thought, yeah, okay, I'll make it middleweight. That's what boxers
Yeah,
do, isn't it?
yeah. Well, Freddie Mills also started out as a middleweight, but
Yeah,
he became a light heavyweight. But it was always kind of a little too short anyway for that division. Many people thought, but he fought even as a heavyweight later on. So yeah,
how tall was Freddie Mills, by the way?
5'10". Yeah,
Okay, yeah,
just a little
well,
taller, like a shade taller than you.
yeah. But I like the Raging Bull, Jay LaMotta, Sugar Ray
Yeah,
Robinson. Um, I can't go through this conversation without mentioning Marvelous Marvin Hagler.
of course.
He was formidable,
Mm,
box fighter. He was, in my opinion, um, one of the best switch hitters that ever existed in boxing.
mm,
And I think he was, you know, I don't know, maybe in some way, some of the decisions could have gone his way before he became a champion. You know, like I think Antifermo was one of them. Is that right? When it was a close sort of like debatable.
yeah, Anto Fermo. Yeah, that's right. It was a draw, but many people say it was a robbery. Yeah,
Another tough guy, by the way.
yeah, he was tough.
Um,
Gotta give him credit,
he
definitely.
was tough as they come. You know, you don't get much tougher
Yeah.
than Antifermo.
And even
Um,
even more impressive is the fact that he didn't really have much power. So he was a really tough cookie. He had to go 15 rounds almost always, and yeah.
yeah, yeah. I think in the early 80s and the late 70s, Hagler was around quite a while, wasn't he? You know, quite
Mm.
a few fights, and he'd had quite. And I've watched some of his older fights from like late 70s to the early
Mm.
80s, and he didn't really change his style. You know, he was more or less the same. But when that's how I felt. But
Mm.
when he came over to London to fight Minter, that's when he claims to say that he took what belonged to him. The title belongs to him, and he's taking it home.
Yeah, that was not maybe the. Of course, that wasn't the way he would have preferred to win, by a cut stoppage, but
No,
he
no,
won
definitely
anyway.
not.
Yeah,
But I think that fight would have got stopped if it had carried on anyway, because he was shook. Minter was. Um, I really respect Minter, and I think he was a really good boxer.
yeah, he was.
Really good boxer, and I really thought he was a formidable boxer.
Mm.
Um, um, Britain's boxing great is
I
Alan
think,
Minter.
yeah, Minter, he had a lot of losses because of cuts. That's what I know, and he was very unlucky there because otherwise he would have maybe even better career. But he did win the world title, and yeah.
Yeah.
Bruce Gas,
Um,
Boxing Jazz. Hello, just salute to our man, brother. Hagler never got the belts because of the riot. Yeah, that's right. They had to send him the titles. Exactly. They
yeah,
had to run. They had
yeah.
to escape.
That was unsavory incidents. What was going on there after the fight? It wasn't nice to see, and um,
Yeah.
you know, I don't think Agler took it personally because he said not every British fight fan's like that. It's just a minority, and
Yeah.
that's how it turned out.
I know that was in 1980, September or something. Yeah. So
Yeah.
you probably remember that fight well. You were already boxing yourself, right? Right then.
As a junior, maybe. I
Yeah.
remember. I remember when we were sparring. I said that um, I was sparring the trainer's son, who was a national champion. They were very good, by the way. So you're
Mm.
mixing in good stock. You're mixing in good pedigree of boxers that came in and the sparring. So um, I was Mustafa Hanshaw and he was Alan Minter because they boxed each other, didn't they?
He was a tough bastard. Also dirty fighter, but good still.
Yeah. So it's around that time when I was boxing as a junior. Yeah. So it's around that time, isn't it?
Yeah. Hello to
So
Dan. Mm.
hello, everybody.
Yeah.
And I was one boxer in particular stands out, as well as all the rest. They're all formidable.
Mm.
Stanley Ketchel.
Oh yeah. What a
I was
puncher.
looking. I was looking at his heights. He's only about 5'7", apparently.
Yeah, or somewhere it says 5'9", but they can those stats can be different. They can vary.
Um,
Hampshire was one of the toughest to have the best. Yeah, definitely. He would have probably won a world title if there wasn't for Hagler.
well,
That's-
yeah. Who's that? I'm sure.
yeah, Hampshire.
Yeah. Same with Tony Simpson. He don't win a
Yeah,
link these days. There's that many titles available.
many
But Tony
others also.
Simpson would have been Tony Simpson more than likely would have been a world champion.
Yeah, Tony gave Hagler a good fight, but he was just
Oh,
chanceless.
that was
Mm.
an incredible fight. I occasionally watch it on playback on YouTube.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Simpson, he was a really nice, I mean, a really good fighter and like hard working man. And yeah.
but Stanley Ketchel, he was a little bit like Tommy Harrison going around
Mm,
bar fights, and he was a bouncer. Was Stanley Ketchel, and he started
right.
to sort of like get involved in a lot of fights, and he started to go around fighting, street fighting and stuff like that, arrange street fight like bare knuckle and stuff.
Mm,
And he fought because he was pretty good at it. He started boxing as a professional. He was only young when he died. He was 24-year old, and he became the middleweight champion in the early 20th century. The early
mm.
20th century. Um,
Yeah, he was he got killed. That's what I know.
he,
He was still a champion, and
he was involved. I don't know. The dispute was a dispute. It was a personal, something personal, and
yeah,
he got
it was about I think someone's girlfriend was
yeah.
flirting with him, and that guy just shot him because. But I read that that might have been like some kind of scam or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. Um, yeah, it was
At
very
age
unpleasant
14,
circumstances, wasn't it?
wow.
Especially at 24-year-old.
Yeah,
He
she
was
was a
friends.
married woman.
He
Yeah, that's right. Mm,
Stanley Ketchel was friends with Jack Johnson.
right. Yeah, they had a fight, like an exhibition, actually.
Yeah,
When,
I was watching
yeah,
that on YouTube today. He actually, I don't know if did he drop him,
yeah,
legitimately. He dropped Jack Johnson. Was it
in the
legitimately
late
or
round.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
had to look at it about a few times. I thought,
Mm.
I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm not suggesting anything, but he looked flat out actually. But just before that, it dropped Jack Johnson, hadn't he?
Mm. Yeah, that I read about it. I haven't seen it yet, but I will anyway. Yeah, actually, had a great, enormous power for a guy who of his size. Anyway, That was for
Yeah,
sure. I mean, to deck Johnson. Yeah, Johnson got mad and just knocked him out, and his teeth, like flew. Yeah, I think some of them were in his glove. Actually, that was gross.
yeah.
Very
In
brutal.
them days, they were hard men, weren't they?
Yeah, they were hard, man.
There was
Definitely.
there was none of this sports science like they have today.
Mm,
There was no
yeah.
like relinquishing belts.
Yeah, there was no. Yeah, no. I mean, you could only be stripped,
There,
but that didn't happen a lot either. Like
there was
today.
there was only one world champion.
Yeah, of course.
But now we have like I think in some ways it's a good thing because it gives boxers more opportunity.
mm,
It gives them
yeah,
more of a chance to win something. Even in the small hall shows, they have like international belts available
yeah,
for like club shows, such as at leisure centres and stuff like that. That's where grassroots boxing is at,
hmm,
and that's where boxing needs boxers like that because that's where it begins from. Like grassroots level boxers, they get labelled as journeymen.
yeah.
However, boxing had struggled to exist without those boxers available.
Mm, yeah, definitely. Yeah,
We've got another Sugar Ray Robinson. He was from England. I liked him.
yeah.
Excuse me, Sugar Ray Robinson was from the States. I'm Randolph Turpin.
Turpin, that's what I thought. Yeah,
Excuse me.
yeah. He
I
was
mean,
very good.
I
Yeah,
got, yeah. Randolph
yeah. He
Turpin. Yeah,
was.
I liked him, and yeah, he was from England, not Sugar
Yeah,
Ray
he
Robinson.
was. Yeah, he was very good, but very, very troubled man. Unfortunately. Yeah,
Turpin.
yeah. He was like he had problems with women and stuff like that, and got divorced and lost the
Yeah,
fight because of that and stuff. Yeah, you know.
yeah. There were a lot of personal things going on in his
Yeah,
life, wasn't there?
yeah.
I like Tommy Earns.
Me too. One of my favorite fighters, really, of all times. Yeah.
And let's not go without mentioning Dwight. He's not a middleweight though. Dwight Mohamed Kawi.
Oh yeah,
He's
yeah.
5'7".
What
He
a
had no amateur
powerhouse.
fights. No amateur
Yeah,
fights. 5'7". He won. He became the WBC light heavyweight and the WBA cruiserweight
yeah.
championships.
He
Not
was
bad for someone
very,
who have no amateur fights.
he was very clever and not just strong, but very clever guy. Also, actually, very skilled and yeah.
I was doing a little bit of research on Dwight today, and on
Mm,
Wikipedia, he's 5'7", and on BoxRec, he's 5'5.5".
yeah, yeah. That's really that kind of really frustrates me. You never know exactly like how tall somebody
And,
is. Yeah.
and as we know, that happens quite a lot, doesn't it? With stats.
Yeah, I've also seen 5, 6.5 on one
Oh,
site.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Um, but yeah. Um, since I stopped boxing, that was a long time ago, by the way.
Mm,
If you work the age, like 1981, so yeah, we can work that out. When I had my senior fight, one of my first senior fights was in 1986.
mm,
So there wasn't that much difference, but it's a big difference from like 13 to 14 to 18.
yeah.
I stopped boxing. I lost my desire, but I still kept in touch with boxing very much. It had a big place in my heart from when I was a child.
Mm. So
You
you
know,
you never wanted to turn pro.
yeah. Well, there was opportunities that could have happened a couple of times. I was training at the professional gyms, and one for more was going to sign me. I was on the verge of signing me up, but I never went back. Hey,
Right.
Rocky, you come back, you keep coming back and training with us, and he didn't have an American accent, but I'm putting an American accent. We'll say, yeah, even he called me Rocky. So yeah,
Right.
yeah, Rocky Leyden, isn't it? Yeah,
That
I've always
sounds
been
good.
reading boxing merchandise, such as Ring Magazine, KO Magazine,
Hmm.
Um, boxing news, I used to get that every week. Now, going back to the 1984 Olympics, that was one of my first copies from the 1994 Olympics. So we're talking
84.
a
Yeah,
long time
those were
ago. That's
those
my
were
favorite
really,
Olympics, by the way, for
yeah.
boxing. That's my favorite Olympics. I like that.
Some great fighters were competed there. Yeah, I know one of my favorites is somebody who won a silver medal there who doesn't get enough credit. I feel is Virgil Hill, the light heavyweight and cruiserweight champion. Yeah,
Yeah, I was watching Virgil on a recent podcast not that long ago, and he came across as a real nice gentleman.
yeah, yeah. He is. He was a really kind of really tricky kind of really technically good fighter, but also had a really dangerous left hook, left hand. Yeah. So
Um, so during this time, I've been reading all the boxing before the internet. By the way, there was no internet back then,
yeah, of course.
and since the internet became more frequent and more or less it's taken over the world, basically.
Yeah.
Um, you know, um, I tend to get my boxing online. However, my knowledge of recent years, particularly the recent times in boxing, is rather depleted when it comes to boxing. I think if anyone's going to know more about that, it'll be you compared to me because
Right.
I don't really follow it as much now. Even though I still love the game, I think it's doing. And I've also got my license as I did my license with the British Boxing Board of Control. I got my trainer's license with them.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I was just gonna ask you, did you ever wanna train like other boxers?
Well,
Oh, salute
that,
to
yeah,
Skywalker.
and that's why I went for my license. Went on a course, so did a bit sort of brief exam, and you had to do a practical as well. Quite a
Hmm.
lot of theory. You had to do go through a lot of sitting down and tutoring, just listening to them, taking it all in. Then they had to go away, revise, come back, then sit through an exam, and then basically a lot of it's based around safety, boxers'
Yeah.
welfare and safety.
Yeah, and you gotta know stuff like about massage and I mean this
Well,
physical stuff. Yeah.
it was more to do with boxing safety and rules and
Mm.
regulations, what you can do and what you can't do, or what you shouldn't do
Right.
and what you should do. Like jumping on the apron and throwing a towel in, that's not technically a rule, but they accept it. Things like that. Using
Yeah.
adrenaline for the eyes. 1,001 general at the time was allowed, nothing else was allowed. So you've got to know rules as well as the regulations.
Hmm.
Um, and because part of the exam it involves all that as well. And
Hmm.
yeah, um, and I've done quite a bit on boxing media as well. I've interviewed boxers. I've done quite a few articles, and I've also done some ringside reports, and I got them published online on various internet boxing sites, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Hmm.
Thoroughly enjoyed it. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
My profile picture, as you can see, is from the great um, Jack Dempsey.
Jack. Yeah, I was gonna
Again,
say
um, Je-
Luis.
um, Jess Willard. That was
Oh,
July the
Jess
4th,
Willard.
1919, Toledo, Ohio,
Yeah,
Lakeview
man.
Park Arena. Willard was down 7 times in that first round.
Yeah, that was a slaughter, really. I mean, a
Seven
mass.
times in that first round. And
Yeah,
I don't believe he went down again until the referee's technical knockout stopped it. At the end of the
yeah.
third, at the beginning of the fourth round.
He was never the same after that fight.
Well, I think Willard was probably at the back end of his career by then. I was reading an article about that particular fight, and Willard got paid very handsomely.
Hmm.
He got paid in them days. It was a lot of money. He got paid very handsomely,
Yeah,
and I think the same sort of like thing happened to Jack Dempsey when he won the title. He kind of sort of like took some time out, didn't he? And he did a lot of acting and stuff like that. Came a showbiz celeb.
yeah, yeah. He did. Yeah, Hmm. Well, I was gonna ask you. I mean, you like have you attended some big fights? I mean, in your life, like
Yeah, I've had the pleasure of going over to Las Vegas, and I was at the MGM Grand on the Las Vegas on the Vegas Strip, and I was had the pleasure of being upgraded. My seat, I got in the middle row, and I was watching Paulie Ma, Malignaggi
yeah.
versus Ricky Hatton. I watched that one. That was really wow,
Oh, yeah, nice.
incredible.
Yeah, that was like one of Ricky's comeback fights after Mayweather fight. Yeah, I think that was the
And
last one that he won
I
actually.
think I think it was a good opponent to face, though.
Mm,
Um,
yeah,
it, I mean, sorry, I have trouble
just
pronouncing
say
names sometimes.
Paulie,
It's
Paulie. That's
Malignaggi. It's
yeah,
Malignaggi, I believe.
Malinaji. Yeah,
Sorry
that's right.
if I
Mm.
butchered his name, but yeah,
It's all right.
um,
You're not the only one, I'm sure.
yeah. But it was still if Malignaggi had a punch, if he could pop a punch, it'd have been outstanding because
Yeah,
he was tough. He had a good boxing ability,
yeah,
but
that's
he didn't
true. He
seem to
had
have that
a
real
lot of
knockout
heart. Yeah,
equalizer, did he? You know what I mean?
yeah. He was
Apparently, I
tough.
think reportedly he blames it on a broken hand or something like that, and it's not the same. I don't know. That's true.
Yeah, he had a lot of heart and toughness and all that. Yeah, but he never could punch. That was for some reason. Some guys just don't know. I mean, I don't know really. What do you think? Why is it that some? Is it just physical strength, or is it something else that makes somebody a harder puncher than others?
Yeah, but that was a brilliant experience. Wow. Yeah,
Yeah,
and then a few months later, I couldn't miss this one. Um, Manny Pacquiao versus Ricky Hatton. I had to be there.
yeah, that was a brutal fight.
That was a brutal ending to the fight, by the
Ending,
way.
yeah.
I was at
What
the
a
back of
knock.
the row, and unfortunately, on this occasion, I didn't get an upgrade because
Yeah,
the arena was absolutely full. At the Malignaggi Hatton fight, it wasn't full; it was like half full. So they tend to upgrade people so it gets closer to the ring, so it looks good for
mm,
the cameras.
yeah, of
And when they
course.
go live, isn't it? HBO at the time and Showtime, and I don't know.
Yeah, that was just of course in hindsight you might say Ricky shouldn't have taken that fight, but
Well,
that's how he
he
was.
trained.
Yeah.
Ricky had changed trainers
Oh right.
precisely from the from
Mm.
when he boxed Paulie Malignaggi. He recruited Roger Mayweather Senior, isn't it?
Oh, or you mean Floyd Mayweather
Oh,
Senior?
oh, excuse me.
Yeah.
Forgive me for my yeah. Floyd Mayweather Senior. Yeah,
Oh yeah, right.
yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he was. I thought in that Mayweather fight there was a lot of like the referee was interfering too much, and stuff like that. Didn't
In
let
the
him fight.
Mayweather Hatton fight,
Yeah, didn't let Hatton fight
um,
his fight and stuff like that.
Cortez won it.
Yeah,
Yeah, Cortez. He was breaking him up all the time, and that's one of his strengths, isn't it, Ricky Hatton? He likes to get
yeah,
him close.
yeah. That's
Um,
how he fights.
yeah,
So he
but I
wasn't
don't
allowed.
know. You know what I mean? I don't
Yeah.
know. You know. Yeah, it looked like he was breaking up all the time, which on
Hmm.
appearance, I thought, well, why is he just breaking it up? He's not even holding him. Was he
Yeah.
holding him all the
Exactly.
time? I don't think he was. He was trying to hit him, wasn't he? In
Yeah.
close. Infighting. Where does infighting come from? You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Yeah, but Cortez was a great referee, and he had a fabulous career. So
Hmm.
he did
He
really
did.
well
He
for
was.
himself. But
He was
that was a little
actually.
bit controversial, to say the least. That that holding bit, and
Hmm.
I don't know if Ricky Hatton how he feels about that now.
Hmm. Well, I'm sure he isn't very pleased with Cortez. But anyway, that was a long time ago now. Yeah. Well, uh, if somebody has in the chat someone they want to ask Peter, just be my guest because I don't think we have that much more to talk about.
Oh, by the way, I watch
Yeah.
quite a lot of bare knuckle boxing now.
All right.
Um, yeah, I watched on like YouTube. I watched a lot of fights on there. I've not watched it much recently, as much recently, but I'm watching
Mm.
more of that than I have boxing, to be honest. Um,
Just remember, I want to ask you, how much do you follow boxing, and especially, I mean, boxing in general now, right now.
um, maybe not as much as what I used to do, but I'm still
Mhm.
sort of like a big fight fan. I still love the boxing, but I don't get the magazines anymore. That's where I
Right.
built a lot of my knowledge from reading the magazines.
They're
Um,
too
you know,
expensive now, or what?
at the time, yeah, more sort of like a laid back approach to boxing.
Hmm.
Um, but back then, I could have named a world champion in every weight category. Now I'd struggle to name about three, four.
Right.
That's why I said my knowledge of boxing, modern day boxing, is rather depleted. You know,
Hmm.
the link of one of those fights, I've not, no disrespect, but I've not heard of them because I'm not following boxing. I don't know who they
Yeah.
are. I don't know the names. I don't recognize the names.
Well, this guy that fought last night, who is in the first fight that I sent you, that is one of the best middleweights right now. Definitely, he's from Kazakhstan.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
it was the other two boxers who I didn't know. I know Costa Zoo. I know his dad
yeah,
very well. I
his
think
son.
I was just going to say Kazakhstan as an amateur, he boxed.
Right. Well, the son of Costa too fought last night. Also, Tim.
Yeah,
He's in
yeah.
Australia.
That
Hmm.
that's what I wanted to ask you briefly about Costa Zoo, his son. I think I've spoken
Yeah.
to him once briefly as well, going back a long time.
Wow.
When he
Brilliant.
first turned professional, I sort of messaged him and he messaged me back, and I thought, oh, that's pretty cool.
Hmm. Nice guy, right?
Well, I don't really know, but sometimes people do things like that. They don't take
Hmm.
2 seconds, don't take 2 minutes, does it, to say hello?
Hmm.
You know,
And
but I don't know
which
if
what was
you don't
your
if you can.
yeah
Yeah, sorry, you were going to ask me a question.
yeah I was gonna ask you just which what is your favorite British boxer like of all time, or you can pick more than
Um,
one if you want.
you know what? I think
Yeah.
of all time, my favorite boxers can go on for like the list is endless. However,
Hmm.
I do have a few on my short list. There's so many, too many to mention. However, I
Hmm.
did mention a few already. However, another one that I particularly like is Tommy the Duke Morrison.
Hmm. But no, I meant from UK, British.
From the UK, I think Michael Watson was one of them, definitely. I think he
Yeah.
was a brilliant boxer and he was very unlucky.
Yeah.
He got caught
Very.
with that shot and um,
That
it was
was.
serious. It was really bad.
Yeah, that
Um,
was tragic. He was winning that fight also, and yeah, great tragedy. But he
I think he
pulled
was winning
through.
that fight as well, by the way. But that was a punch from,
Yeah, he was. He also knocked down Eubank, before that, and
yeah,
yeah, Vasily
yeah.
Zhiro. Yeah, he is from Kazakhstan, a champion cruiserweight. Yeah, he was very good.
I like
Yeah, Michael Watson beat Ben in his
yeah,
prime
Michael
and
Watson. I
by
liked him.
TKO. Yeah. Yeah, that was one hell of a performance by Watson. Yeah,
I thought it was
those.
formidable against Nigel Benn.
Yeah, Nigel just punched himself out. He couldn't hit him. Couldn't hit Watson because he was.
That that was just a fantastic performance. But I think
Yeah.
not long after that fight, he ended up being on the undercard to Nigel Benn.
Yeah. That's right. I
In a
watched
world
a
title fight, I think it was a world title fight. Am I right?
Yeah, I watched a documentary about Watson. Yeah, that was really unfair. He was fighting on Ben's
Michael
undercards. And
Watson's career didn't really take off like it
yeah,
did for Nigel Benn. When Nigel
yeah,
Benn lost that fight, he went to the States and he started to do all his boxing over there.
mm. Yeah,
And
he beat.
he changed his style a little bit more to more like boxing and fighting, more boxing. And
Mm.
I think it turned him into a different boxer fighter.
Yeah, he
Vic
beat. He
Andretti, I
won.
think he started
He,
training with Vic Andretti to begin with.
yeah, he won the WBO title there and beat Doug DeWitt and yeah, what's his name? Iran Barkley. Yeah, that was very impressive in one round. Yeah, now his son is also fighting, as we know. I mean, two of his sons, but Connor is the one that is more like acclaimed. What do you think about Connor, Ben?
I think he's marketable is because of who he is. A bit like like anyone who has a famous boxing father, like Eubank Junior,
Yeah,
is marketable. He's always going to bring the crowds in, going to bring pay-per-views in.
yeah,
Because of that, you know what I mean? Got that.
mm,
The powers have got legendary status, in my opinion. I think Conor Benn is got. I think he's with a limited amateur career, he's done pretty well. But I think he's been catapulted forward, fast tracked forward, because of where he comes from. Because of his
mm,
background, who his father is. I think that makes a big difference. However, he still can fight. I think he's reasonable. I think he's all right. But I don't,
yeah. It's only a shame this thing happened with the Eubank fight, and it has kind of, you
you
know,
know,
made
um,
him inactive too long now. And yeah,
Eubank Junior has kind of grown on me in recent sort of like months. After the first Smith fight, Liam Smith was deleted in that first fight, man. Um,
yeah,
that
yeah,
was a shock. I didn't expect that. I didn't expect.
yeah.
But yeah,
That was
all credit to Liam Smith. He fully deserved it. It was a great performance, great night for him. But in the rematch, it was totally different, completely different.
yeah. But some have said that Smith also had an injury in that fight, in the second fight. I don't remember where, but it was,
I think he was nursing a really bad injury,
yeah,
and he had problems making the weight. He lost quite a lot of weight. He had to lose quite a lot of weight. He ballooned up.
really. Wow. That's weird, but I guess, yeah, he's 35 now. You know how it goes, at that age. You suddenly start.
But a lot of people online were writing Eubank Junior off, and I've not
Mm.
been Eubank Junior's biggest fan. However, I
He's,
think you're writing him off too easy. You know what I
yeah,
mean? You know
he's
what?
got the
I
skills.
think
He's got, yeah.
Eubank Junior. I think he's going to win this fight before the fight. So I
Mm,
predicted that he was going to win it, but I had him winning on points. But he was more
yeah.
destructive. He did a good job actually.
I don't want to
Um,
brag, but I also predicted Eubank to win. I first wasn't sure, but when I really gave it a good thinking, I was like, yeah, Eubank probably gonna win this time, and maybe even by stoppage. And yeah, right. Do you agree with this? Dan says Calzaghe is the most underrated fighter last 50 years.
um, I think it's a mixed bag really with Kalzaki. A lot of people really rate him. And he's just an exceptional British boxer. He did really well. He had a distinguished career. He did really well. A great father and son um, boxing trainer and boxer. It was successful. He didn't really have much experience until he started
Mm,
training his son. Did Enzo, the late Enzo? I think
yeah,
the gentleman was called Enzo. Is that right? His father was called
yeah,
Enzo.
his
Yeah.
father, yeah, Enzo, yeah, good,
Yeah, I think it was just naturally. It was just made to happen. It was good. I think he got criticised a lot. The
yeah,
a lot of boxing fans, not every boxing fan, but quite a lot of boxing fans say that he was
yeah.
sidestepping. Certain
I
like,
remember
like,
when I started going on boxing, message boards. There were a lot of haters like calling him Cal Slappy and stuff like that.
yeah.
Ridiculous.
I
You
think some of the things that people may say at times are ridiculous, and
mm,
boxing doesn't really need those kind of comments. I think he
Yeah,
had
of
an injury as well.
course.
He injured his hand, didn't he? And he was kind of,
Yeah,
yeah. I
that's
think,
why he stopped being a puncher. That's why
yeah.
he
Because
started.
look,
Yeah,
Galzaki was four-time ABA champion. ABA champion. You don't win four times ABA champion if you're not good.
yeah, of course.
He
And
won it four times,
he
and
retired undefeated. I mean, he doesn't have. I don't think there is one fight that you can see like say like, yeah, maybe he should have lost that fight. I don't think so. He won them all fairly, fair and square.
yeah, I think Galzaki won the fights as well. Some of the fights were close though.
Yeah,
They
like
were
Robin
close.
Reed, that fight was a tough one, I believe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Pin-Up Boy versus Pin-Up Boy. And it was on ITV that in back in the day
yeah,
before there was like all these pay-per-views. It used to show it on TV.
mm, yeah, right.
There's none of this sort of like pay-per-views then. Back then in the 90s. Am I right? It was in the 90s, wasn't it?
Yeah. You mean Robin Reed or?
Yeah, Robin Reed and Galzaki. Yeah,
Yeah,
he
yeah,
was. I
yeah,
think he was bronze medal at the Barcelona Olympics. Was Robin Reed? Am I right? Did he
yeah,
win the
yeah,
bronze medal?
yeah. I think
Yeah,
so. Yeah, 92. Yeah, yeah. He
yeah, he
was
had
a
a good
very good
career.
fighter. He was a very good, but
Yeah,
Calzaghe was better.
and
Yeah,
he was a model as well, a male model.
yeah. I think I heard some rumors that he might have been like I don't know in like some porn movie or something. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, that's news to me. I didn't know about that.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, they say something, some of these things that you don't really know unless there's
yeah,
any evidence, but I don't know. Gossip, innit? Sometimes can be gossip.
yeah. Of course. See, Mr. Pat says he thinks Calzaghe is the best 168. Yeah, I think so too. It's only a shame he couldn't fight Ward and prove himself as the very best beyond all
Wow.
doubt.
Now that is a mouth-watering prospect. Andre
Yeah,
Ward versus Joe Galzaki.
what
Wow.
a fight! Yeah,
That would have been a formidable fight. Imagine
yeah,
how many pay-per-views that'll sell, boss.
yeah. Of course, huge, huge fight. I mean, even bigger than Ward versus Kovalev. I think.
Look, Joe went undefeated for a reason. He was exceptionally good.
Yeah, of course.
He was a good tactician. He knew how to work fighters, boxers out. I mean, when he fought
Mm.
Roy Jones, he did really well. I think Bernard Hopkins, did he get dropped in both fights? Dropped.
Yeah, yeah. In the first round, both times.
In the early stages, wasn't it? In the early stages.
Yeah, but
Like I said, just because you get dropped doesn't mean to say the fight's over. When it happened to me that time when I was sparring as a kid, 13-year-old, I got dropped, but it's not over. You get back up. It's like life itself.
of
You don't
course,
give
yeah.
up. You carry on. You carry on the fight.
That's true. That's true. Of course. Yeah, I mean, and Joe Calzaghe was just a tough guy and really plenty of heart and yeah.
Right. I
Mm.
think Ward might win that as well. To be honest, I think you might be right there.
He's very tricky. Yeah, I mean,
So I can't really see because I'm on my phone and the the graphics are really small. The writing. I've got really bad eyes by now.
yeah. Mr. Pat says he thinks Calzaghe would win a decision over Ward, MD, maybe a majority decision or something.
Oh, okay. I'd probably have that the other way around, in my opinion. And I think Ward would win that. I don't know about what would you. How would you see that fight going?
Yeah, but kind of
Boss?
hard to say. But I think I would favor Calzaghe, but that's also a little bit, a biased because I would like to see him win. So I don't really, you know, I think it could go either way, probably. I mean, of course, you never know with those judges. Yeah. Oh, hello,
Yeah.
Mr. Duran, Max Duran. Salute.
Hello.
Nice to see you here. Where we
Yeah.
are approaching the end of this, podcast. Yeah. All right. I don't know. Do you have anything else you wanna talk about or say?
Um, First of all, thank you very much for having me on the podcast. It's been an
You're
absolute
welcome.
pleasure joining yourself and all the viewers and participants who joined
Mm,
in. Um, I'm I'm sorry that I didn't see some of the comments because it's really small and I can't really
it's
tiny
all
and I
right.
can't work it out what people are saying. So thank you, Boz, for translating what people were saying.
Anytime, man. No problem. It
Oh,
was
by
a
the way, I
really
still do my road work and I still go do my shadow boxing.
oh, very nice. Skywalker, thank you, my man, friend.
However,
Yeah,
I'm probably a heavyweight now. I'm
yeah,
probably fighting.
me
I'll be
too.
fighting as a heavyweight, but I don't think
And
I'll be fighting because
you can,
I'm over the hill now. I'm over the hill.
I suggest you to follow Skywalker
Yeah,
Boxel
of course.
because
Yeah, of
uh,
course. It's been a.
he's got he's on
Thank you very
his
much.
Instagram. Mm,
That means a lot.
yeah.
Skywalker, thank you so much.
Best of luck, Dan says. Best of
Thank you very
luck,
much, Dan. I
Rocky.
really appreciate it. Maybe in the future, I could join you guys again for another podcast.
Sure,
If people are
sure.
happy with that, I hope I didn't bore everybody silly with my background and stuff like that. I really don't find it difficult talking about myself sometimes, you
Yeah,
know.
no, of course. Not everybody enjoys that. Not everybody, yeah, is like Chris Eubank or whatever. Yeah, salute, bro. All right. Well, it's been really a pleasure having you here, Peter, and yeah, we'll find another time to have you as a guest when Joshua is back as also, and yeah,
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And you're a great
thank
host, boss. You're a fantastic
thank you.
boxing historian.
I'm
Um,
blushing. Thank you very much. All right. Well, I think that was it, people. Yeah.
Good night, everybody. It's been a pleasure
Good,
meeting you all. Thank you so much.
good night and have a good one. Ciao. Thank you, Dan. All right. That was our guest, Peter Rocky Van Leyden. And yeah, with that, we finish for this time 1 hour, 12 minutes. That was a quite a long time. All right. And Josh, I hope will be back next week. I trust. Salute to him as well. All right. Bye, guys. Take it easy.